It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Navy's Associate Head Women's Lacrosse Coach, Coach Brooke Shriver. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about, of course, how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching and college women's lacrosse?
Yeah, that's a good question. I am very fortunate that I kind of lucked into it. I played my college lacrosse out at Northwestern, and I'm originally from Baltimore. So at some point, my mom said, you have to move home and find a job. So I was kind of in denial about that, and didn't really apply for any jobs or anything. So like mid-June, I guess I was like, I guess I'll start applying for jobs. And I applied for some coaching jobs, being that that was my experience, that was my passion. So I was like, I guess I'll try it out. I always knew I want to do something in sports. So I got lucky. I got a job at Mount St. Mary's coaching lacrosse. Thank goodness I got a job, which was awesome. And thank goodness I got a job that I really enjoyed. So I wish I could tell you there was part of my grand plan, but there was no grand plan. I just kind of lucked into it and ended up loving it. So yeah.
What was that collegiate time like going to Northwestern and playing collegiate lacrosse?
It was awesome. I mean, again, like I said, I'm from Baltimore, so it's a hotbed of lacrosse, but I was looking to go somewhere different. A lot of people will go to stay kind of around home, and I was like, you know what? I want to go to a place where it's somewhere different. When else am I going to live in Chicago? And I wanted to go to a program that was really successful. And at the time, luckily, Northwestern was that. We were fortunate enough to win national championships 3 out of my 4 years there, which was awesome. Like just being a part of such an amazing team and having awesome coaches, like just a really, really great experience.
What was that feeling like for you as a player to get to put on that Northwestern purple jersey and represent them?
Yeah, I'm glad you said the purple jersey because that's my favorite, actually. I would try to convince our coaches to let us wear purple tops and purple bottoms. It didn't really work out a lot of the time, but I really, that's definitely my favorite. But it's a special feeling. I think like whenever you are choosing a college, and this is what we always tell recruits is like, you want to make sure that it's the place that you want to be regardless. Knock on wood, hope you're playing there all 4 years. Well, I guess now 5, 6 years you could be in college, but you want to be at a place that you feel passionate about, that you're excited to be there. And, that pride of putting on that jersey is really exciting. So especially now being an alum, they just won the national championship this past year. So you better believe, we had all our Northwestern clothes on at home. I don't know if my jersey still fits, but I'll try that out.
Of course, how was that experience like being a part of Northwestern and putting on that jersey and representing them?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I think like I got to play with so many amazing, amazing lacrosse players, not just amazing lacrosse players, but like awesome people. Some of my best friends are my teammates. Now a lot of us are out in coaching. So I think it was just really awesome to be a part of something where everyone has the same goal. We're always going out there and wanting to work hard. Winning a national championship wasn't really something that we like talked about every day. It wasn't even something we talked about very often. It was just putting in the work each day. And, I try to bring that to my coaching as well.
Of course, as a player, what was that experience like going to 3 national championships for Northwestern in '08, '09, and 11?
Yeah, it was awesome. And I appreciate you not mentioning 2010. Unfortunately, we lost in the championship that year, but it was an amazing feeling. I mean, the first two were in Baltimore, which is my hometown. So cool to be able to represent in front of my friends and family. And then my senior year, gotta love going out on top. One of the best feelings, walking out to the tailgate, seeing all your friends and family, and just like having that pride, that excitement, like it's just so much fun. Like, again, I said, playing with such amazing people. I mean, I'm just happy to be a part of it.
As a player, what was that experience like getting to put on those rings and know that all of your hard work paid off?
It was awesome. Funny story. So I'm not really like a jewelry kind of person, but my senior year, one of my teammates, so the seniors get to pick out the ring, which is pretty cool thing. So my senior year, we win, we're in the coach's office, we're looking at all these designs, and in the past they'd been kind of smaller, like, something you could probably wear every day kind of ring. And when we won, one of my teammates goes, flip the page, we want a statement piece. So my senior year ring is massive. I don't think I've ever worn it, but it is awesome to be able to have it in a like little, they gave us a nice case, so have it in there. But yeah.
Of course, after your playing career, what was that experience like getting into coaching and getting started coaching?
Yeah, it was really definitely exciting. I mean, I think going from a player to a coach is always an interesting thing. You as a young coach, you have to find the boundary of, I'm not their friend, but I want them to build that relationship, and just figuring out your own style as a coach. What is my style? And everyone has something different. You can't just mimic someone else. I think it's really important to be genuine in what you're doing and find yourself. So I think, that can take a little bit. But I was just so excited, dove headfirst in, and I was the only assistant. So BJ Johnson, who was the head coach at Mount St. Mary's, she gave me tons of responsibilities, which was awesome, just to be able to immediately, be breaking down film, be working with the players, all those things, and all the schedules and all that kind of stuff. So, I think it's a little trial by fire as well.
What was that experience like for you going to Mount St. Mary's and becoming their assistant coach first?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I'm so grateful for that opportunity. It was about an hour and a little from my house. So, I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little bit of a homebody. I went away for college, but I think it was just a great experience. I loved the girls. I really liked the school. We were competitive. And I think it was just a really good experience. I learned a ton.
How was that experience like for you to go to Penn State and get to know what a D1 big time program looks like?
Yeah, that was such an awesome experience. I really learned so much from Missy Doherty, who's still the head coach there. She's awesome. And then Amy Altig was our other assistant. She is now the head coach at Delaware. But I mean, I think the biggest thing was just the relationships, like obviously the resources, all that kind of stuff is just insane. Like going to the football games, you're like, oh my goodness. And then having all that support for the women's lacrosse program as well is so cool. But I think the biggest thing that I took from it was just like the relationships that you're building. A lot of girls that we coached there are now in coaching, which is so much fun, to be out recruiting. You see them on the sideline, or, you compare scouting reports or film and stuff. So just nice to have that like kind of comfort and that safety net out there when you're out recruiting and stuff, which is fun.
What were some of the things that you learned at Penn State under Coach Dolan's time?
Yeah. I mean, Missy is an amazing, amazing motivator. Like I could listen to her all day. Sometimes in the huddle, I'd be like, where did that come from? Like, but she knows how to reach the players. And, again, like I talked about before, just being genuine, like she's always going to be herself. And I think that's so important. There are times where, I might not have agreed with something, and her and I would have like a little battle in the office, all in good spirits. And then, once we got out to the field, we would all be on the same page. And I think that's so important, of like bringing in different ideas, different aspects, all different things. But then when you get out to the field, you're just that united front. So I think that was fun, and just like her relationships with the players. You know, girls are always coming into the office, hanging out with us, and I really took that from her as well.
During your time at Penn State, what were some of your biggest coaching accomplishments there?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think like the relationships are the biggest thing. My husband is so good at being like, when we won this game by this many and this had like, I am the absolute worst at that. Like, I can't tell you any scores, anything, but like not for lack of caring. I just don't have enough room in my brain, I don't think. But like for me, it's like I said, the relationships, you know, all of the girls who I got to coach who are now either coaching or doing something, you know, just following them on social media, being able to see their families and stuff now, like it's so much fun. And on the field wise, I think like one memory that I'll for sure always have with me is winning the first ever Big Ten title while we were there. So in 2015, that was the first year of the Big Ten conference. And who would have ever thought that Penn State versus Ohio State would be in that game and Penn State would come out on top? I mean, it was awesome. We played Northwestern in the semis and we won. And then we were watching the second game and Maryland is playing Ohio State. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm sorry to Ohio State, but I had all the Maryland film, Maryland Scout, everything ready to go. I was like, all right, I'm done. Easy money. We're good. I got that scout ready. Ohio State wins the game. Amy and I, the other assistant, look at each other and we go, oh my God, we're playing Ohio State, which like awesome. I mean, just like so exciting. So we were up. That is the only time I've ever pulled an all-nighter. Never in college, never for anything else, but to get that Ohio State film ready, Amy and I were working all night, got it ready, and then fortunately ended up winning that. So I think that's one memory that I'll definitely take with me for sure.
What was that transition like from going from Penn State, which is obviously a D1 school, to going into the service academy and coming to Navy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an every school has like its cool things and its special things, but to me, like the people are always the best part. You know, everyone says like, what do you love about Navy? And I'm like, well, obviously it's gorgeous, but you know, I love the girls. And I think like you're gonna be able to work with so many different people. And like you said, I mean, being a service academy, it's definitely very different. You know, there's just a lot more structure to the day. There's so many other things that our players have to do throughout the day. You know, when I first started, they made us a Google Doc full of terms of things that we would need to know because they would be talking at me and I'd be like, what? I'm like, I am all for whatever you just said, but I don't think I understood you. But I think just like knowing how many commitments they have outside of lacrosse and finding that balance is really important. You know, obviously we're a D1 program, right? Like we're looking to be successful. We want to be competing at the highest level, but we know that our players are there for more than just to play lacrosse. And everyone can say that, but especially at a place like Navy, I mean, they're looking forward to their future and they know what their future looks like. And I think being able to be there for them and support them in that process is so exciting. This past year, I got to be in the dorm, which like isn't really allowed, but I got to be in the dorm. Our officer rep like helped get me in and got me approved and everything while they got their service selections. And like that whole day was just like in shock of how amazing everything was. Like the girl, like being with the girls when they're finding out, like, I'm going to be a pilot, I'm going to be going Marine, like whatever that is just such an impactful experience. And I was so happy I got to be a part of that. So it was awesome.
What was that feeling like for you as a coach to get to step on to that Navy field for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, I think I still get chills every time. It's awesome. I actually got to play there once in college. Again, I'm terrible at remembering years, but it was either my junior or senior year or something like that. And that was a really cool experience. It was one of the first years of the Navy program. And then now coaching there, I mean, it's awesome. We practice there every day before a game. And then obviously walking out on game day, it's a special feeling. I mean, to see all the stands, all the just like think of all the past that's been there. It's such a special place. Like I said, I still get chills walking out.
What was that feeling like for you to get promoted to become the associate head coach?
It was awesome. I mean, Cindy is literally the GOAT, right? The greatest of all time. Like it had her coaching tree is insane. I would love to one day map it out. And just being able to work with her is awesome. Like she is so dedicated. She loves the sport. She just loves being around lacrosse, and the things that she'll come up with are awesome. She is always talking and finding out, who's doing what and what's the best way to do something. So just being able to work with her and experience that is something special.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped to build for the Navy women's lacrosse program?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a cool, like we said, it's such a cool place. And service academies and the Naval Academy can be known for being a place of hierarchy, right? Like each class, you get more and more responsibilities, you get more and more freedoms and things like that. And I think on the team, the girls do such an amazing job of making sure that none of that is present. You would have no idea what class people are in, I think that's such a credit to our girls. We try to make them, we know that they have such a difficult day, right? Like they're going to class all day, then they have military obligations, then they have to quickly eat, and then they have practice, and then they have to go back and study, and then they might have more military obligations. So it's a lot. It's just mind blowing just thinking about it. So for us, we try to make sure that lacrosse is the best 2 hours of their day. We want them that when they come out on the field, we're going to have fun when they're out there. And fun doesn't mean like, oh my God, we're giggling around and gossiping. Like fun means we're competing and working our butts off. Fun is making sure that we are getting ready to get ready for our next opponent and competing with each other and just being ready and working hard. So, I think that's been the culture that we've been really creating, is just people who really want to work hard, want to be there, and are excited for their future and like what they want to do beyond lacrosse.
What is that like, obviously, getting to compete against some of your teams that you go against, like Boston University, versus competing against Army, who also is a service academy?
Yeah, I mean, the Patriot League alone is a competitive league for sure. And it's been awesome. There's so many great coaches, and it's just really fun how competitive it is. And like you said, I mean, the Army Navy matchup is special, right? They're like, even someone who doesn't, before I got to Navy, I would always watch the Army Navy football game. Now having attended it, it's even extra special, seeing all of them march out onto the field. I'm looking out there, I'm like, oh, I think that's her, so, but there's just something special about that game. Everyone is amped up all week long. And it's just such a special thing. At the end of the day, we're fighting for the same thing, right? Like they're both going to be representing their countries, but it's just really cool to be part of a special rivalry.
Of course, for you, what is that game day like, obviously getting to compete against Army?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, I don't think it's just the game day. I think that is penciled or big highlighted circle for a while on both sides, and in every sport. But that the week looking up to it, we try to just making sure, something we told the girls this week was that we want to play the, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting how I said it. Hold on, give me a sec. Oh yes, I got it now. Sorry. We want to play the game, not the occasion. And I think that's really, really important. Yes, it is a huge occasion, right? Like it's something so special, but it's a game of lacrosse. They all know how to play. They've been working hard. And so, while it is something huge, we try to make sure that we're not making it more than it needs to be, and we're keeping it simple. Sometimes you get those feelings, and right, it's like, oh my God, I need to do X, Y, Z. It's like, no, just keep it simple. So I think for us, it's trying to just like keep everyone calm, keep everyone excited, and channel the nerves into the right way.
For you as a coach, what are some of your game day routines and rituals like as a coach versus when you were a player?
Yeah, that's a funny one. I like that one. As a player, I think I was very, very superstitious. I like having control, and as a coach, you don't really feel, I mean, you have control, but at the end of the day, it's up to the girls and how they're going to be. And so I think I always take confidence in our preparation. We work really hard on our scouting reports, on our practice plans and things like that. And then on game day, to me, it's kind of like, all right, let's see how it is. I rely on the players a lot, and especially on how they're feeling. Sometimes they'll come over and say, hey, can I try this, can I feel this, and I'm always going to defer to them. So I think it's really important of putting them in the place where they can feel most comfortable and feel most successful. And then on the game day, it's kind of like, all right, here we go.
What is that game day atmosphere like at Navy?
Again, it's special. I mean, I think it's so cool playing in that stadium. It's always fun too. If we have a doubleheader with the men's team, you'll get like a ton of people tailgating out there. But our fan base travels really well. Our parents are awesome. Our parents sometimes beat us to the stadium. They're always having their tailgates ready. So we know that there's going to be lots of loud, positive fans in the stands for us.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective candidates that look to come to Navy?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think for sure we're doing it both ways. We're kind of like seeing who's interested, but we're also seeing who we think would be a good fit. So, in the beginning of the summer or fall, we'll kind of go out there and just kind of watch. And we want the top kids, right? But we want to know who's interested. So it requires a lot of talking with club coaches, talking with high school coaches, and those kind of things, and seeing who's interested in a service academy. I think the biggest thing we're always telling them is just be open to anything. When I was getting recruited, I said that I wanted to go south and warm. I went to Northwestern. It's freezing. So you just don't know what you're going to want until you see it. So, I think the biggest thing for us is encouraging them to come take a look, come check it out. With being a service academy, we are allowed to start the communication a little bit sooner than everyone else. So we're allowed to start communicating with them July 1st as opposed to September 1st, which is awesome. So, we have had people on campus this summer. Just being able to kind of start that process a little sooner is really great.
What do you look at in those prospective student athletes when going out on the road recruiting them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, obviously we're looking for people who want to be at Navy, right? We're looking for people who are super competitive, who work really hard, obviously the athleticism, all those like things that you can see, but then the intangibles. I think for us, we're always wanting people to come to camp and things because we love working with them. We love seeing people's coachability. We want people who want to learn and want to keep playing. And again, we want people that are looking for something bigger than themselves, people who want to be able to represent their country. I think that's a special thing.
What does that official visit look like at Navy when those prospective student athletes come on campus?
Yeah, official visits are fun. Typically we'll have them come in, we'll do a photo shoot in a jersey, kind of fun. Then we'll get lunch, we'll send them to class. And I think it's really important to go to class with the players. So that way they get to see, what it's actually like. Academics are definitely something very important at Navy. So we make sure that they go to that. Then they might go to practice. Usually we'll go out to dinner in Annapolis. Annapolis is a gorgeous city. So somewhere on the water, which is really fun. And then in the morning we might do breakfast, but I think, and our players will be sprinkled in obviously at all of those events. Cause like I said, they are the best part, but I think we kind of try to do like a little day in the life of what it would be like if you're here.
Of course, as a coach, what is that feeling like seeing those freshmen put on that Navy uniform for the first time versus your seniors putting on that Navy lacrosse uniform for the last time?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely awesome. I think it's so cool now, like how they get there's so much more documentation of everything. When I was there, I'm looking back through like my stuff. It's like I never had like all these pictures, but they have so many amazing pictures, and I think it's really fun to be able to see that evolution. whenever it's like senior day, it's an emotional day, no matter where you are, what school you are, what sport you are, whatever it is. But I always like that, senior day isn't actually the last anything. And I think that's always really important, is that we have an opportunity to celebrate the seniors, but then, we still have playoffs ahead of us. We still have things like that. So, you don't get the full tears and everything, but you still get the emotion. And, I think it's always something special of being able, we've been fortunate enough to start the seniors on senior day. And I think that's something really awesome that they'll take with them and be able to remember. And I think it just gives the team as a whole so much energy to see all of their leaders out there on the field at once. Pretty cool.
As a coach at Navy, what is that like seeing those seniors put on that last lacrosse uniform and their first officer uniform in the military?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's so cool. It's like surreal almost. So, we're right now they have a bunch of them are in different trainings and things like that. And so I think the summers are one of the coolest things about Navy. They actually get to learn how to like fly planes. They'll be out on boats in submarines, like all these awesome things. And one of the girls, I saw her a couple weeks ago, and I'm chatting with her, and she's like, I just soloed. And I'm like, first of all, I now know that means that I flew a plane myself, which is crazy. But then when I think in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. And then I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, a person that I know knows how to fly a plane. Like, that's so insane. So I think just I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. I don't come from a family with really any military background. So it's just really special to be able to see that. And so fun when they'll send us videos of them flying planes or videos of them out on a ship or anything. We're just so proud of them.
What are some of your future plans at Navy moving forward
Yeah, like in terms of, what do you mean?
about the program?
Oh, with the program. Yeah, absolutely. So, I think for us, it's being competitive. Like, we want to be competitive in our conference. We want to be competitive. We want to for sure be in the top 25, like ranking wise. But I think at the end of the day, it's just building successful student athletes. Like, we want them succeeding in the classroom, on the field, and also kind of in their service assignments. So I think it's really important, to just build those relationships and those things there.
What advice would you give those high school athletes that are looking to become college lacrosse players?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a couple things. I think making sure that you're passionate about it is really important. It's something that you're going to be doing every single day. And I think just making sure that you really, really are excited about it and doing it every day, and knowing that it is okay to put your stick down every once in a while. It's okay to go to the beach. It's okay to go play soccer and do those other things in high school. That is going to make you a better athlete and a better lacrosse player. And then I think just being open to anything, like, you never know what school is going to be the best fit for you, what coaching style is going to be the best fit. So really doing your research and finding what's going to be the best fit for you.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of collegiate lacrosse?
Yeah, I think just obviously, making sure they're fit and ready to go is really important, the pace of the game. But just being ready to take in everything. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions, whether it's of your coaches, your seniors, your upperclassmen, your classmates. I think you can learn so much from your teammates and from your coaches. And I think sometimes I kind of shied away and was like, okay, I'm just going to put my head down and work. And that's really important too. But not being afraid to say, hey, how'd you do that? Can you teach me that? And I think just like the biggest advice I have once you're there too is knowing that you're going to have to put in the extra work. 2 hours a day of lacrosse sounds like a lot, but to really make sure you're getting the most out of it, not being afraid to put that extra work in.
What advice would you give those college athletes that are looking to go play professional lacrosse like Athletes Unlimited or the US route?
Yeah, I mean, I wish Athletes Unlimited had existed when I graduated. I definitely would have played. I'm old and washed up now, but it sounds like so much fun. I would say, as long as you can keep a stick in your hand, go for it. I was working a camp with Dana Dobie, who coaches at Loyola, recently, and she said it the best way. She's like, we're coaches because we don't want to put our stick down. We want to keep learning. We want to keep playing. And, I think that is such a good way to think about it. If it gets boring for you and you want to put your stick down, then you're in the wrong profession or you're doing the wrong thing. So still being excited about it would be the biggest thing.
What advice would you give those college lacrosse players that are in the service academy that are getting ready for their military career to start?
Yeah, I think just not being afraid to reach out for resources, knowing that everyone is so proud of them, and then just making sure they keep those relationships up. I think that's the most special part. So whether it's developing new relationships or keeping the old ones going, I think that's the biggest thing.
What advice would you give those coaches out there looking to get started in coaching in college lacrosse?
Yeah, I think being open to anything is really important. When you first start coaching, you don't know where you're going to end up. So just being ready, taking on whatever opportunity is there, and then figuring out how to develop your own coaching style. Like not just trying to mimic someone else, but finding your own coaching style.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Navy Women's Lacrosse Program app?
Yeah, I think we definitely we have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for Navy Women's Lacrosse. I think it's at Navy WLAX. I'm pretty positive about that. And then my social is at Brooke Shriver for Instagram. And then can't remember my Twitter offhand, but I'm sure if you put it in there, you'd find it.
Thank you again, Coach Brooke Shriver, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the Associate Head Coach for the Women's Navy program.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's great talking to you.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Brooke Shriver, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.